Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do a list of movies that I don't personally like that I still consider to be good movies. So number one is Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Is this a creative idea? Yeah, I consider it to be a creative idea. I mean, I know it's based off a book, but Disney has this way of taking these old classic fairy tales and adding what most people refer to as the Disney magic. You know, they just have this great animation, these great songs, these great characters. They just add so much to it, and it really does seem like a different story. And in this one's no exception. I thought it had a lot of creativity in it. It does progress in a logical fashion. You know, everything makes sense. The way the relationship between Beauty and the Beast, you know, progresses, it makes sense. You understand why. You understand where the characters are coming from. And it does teach a good moral. I mean, granted, at this point, it's kind of an old moral, you know, the whole, like, you know, looks aren't everything. But at the time, I don't think it had really been, I know it was around, but it hadn't really been just hammered in our head, like, over and over and over again. So, yeah, I mean, I still consider it to be a good movie. It just didn't connect with me for some reason. Number two is Ghostbusters. Again, I mean, don't like sit there and hate me. I do recognize this is a good movie. Like I said, it is a creative idea. You know, the whole idea of catching ghosts and, you know, having this whole service and all that stuff. I mean, that's a creative idea. It does progress logically. Like, you know, they decide, hey, we could catch ghosts. Let's try to make money off of it. They start making money off of it, and you know. I don't really think there's a particular moral or anything. I think it was just meant to be entertaining, and yeah, a lot of people love this film. It's a classic. Again, for some reason, just not my thing. I don't know what it is, but I just don't really like Ghostbusters. Number three is American History X. This is a film about racism, which is not a new thing, but the way they tackle it is kind of new because, I love how they talk about how stupid racism is. Like the scene where Edward Norton is in jail, you know, he's talking with the other guy and he's just like, oh, well, I'm just going to go hate some nigger. I don't know nothing about him. I'm just going to go hate him anyway. And like, oh, I love that scene. And I love the fact that they had the balls to put it that way. But the best part was the ending. At the end of the movie, the black kid shoots the white kid because the black kid was racist. And I was like, yes! I mean, that just totally sounded wrong. I mean, I'm not glad that the kid's dead, but I'm glad that they had the balls to say that it's not just white people who are racist. Like, anybody can be racist. Racism is out there. You know, black people can be racist against Mexican people. Mexican can be racist against white people. It's not just white people hating other people. And again, this movie had the balls to say that, and it's something that you hadn't really seen. And again, it makes sense because it's freaking true. So I do think it was pretty creative. I do think it made a good point. You know, again, I think the whole moral of the story was basically just nothing good could come from racism, which again I think was demonstrated very well by the ending. I think that's a good message. So I do think it was pretty creative. I do think it progressed logically. I do think it had a good message. It just really wasn't that entertaining to me as a movie. But again, I still recognize it as being good. I know a lot of people like it. However, sadly, the main reason why most people like it is because of the curb stomping scene. And which, granted, I mean, that was kind of cool. But, I mean, it's kind of sad that there's all this great material and that's what people take away from it. But, you know, whatever. Last but certainly not least, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this one actually kind of hurts me to say because I'm always telling people that this is a good movie. You know, I'm like, wow, it's great. You know, it's really creative and everything. And I do feel it's very creative. You know, the idea of combining Halloween and Christmas and the way they do it. I mean, because they don't just combine it for the hell of it. It actually makes sense. The story progresses in a logical fashion, you know, because Jack Skellington, you know, he's kind of tired of doing the same old thing over and over, which I'm sure a lot of people could relate to that. You know, as he goes out, he looks for something new. He finds something new. He wants to do it. You know, he wants to get involved in this new thing. He brings it to his friends. They are intrigued. They want this new thing. They try to do it, but they screw it up because they're so set in the Halloween way. They don't really know how to do Christmas. And it makes total sense. And individually, I love everything about this movie. Like, I love the characters. I love the scenery. I love the music. I love the idea. For some reason, when I watch it, I get bored, though. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pacing, because I do know there's a couple parts where it kind of gets a little slow. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe I just hype it up too much in my mind. You know, because I've been sitting here talking about, like, what a great, wonderful movie this is, and maybe I just, like, Maybe I just oversell it to myself, and then when I watch it, it doesn't live up to my own hype. I'm not sure. But anyone out there who hasn't seen it, go see it. Like, don't listen to me. You'll probably like it. Like I said, just don't oversell it to yourself. Just watch it. And I do think it's a very good movie. But again, just for some reason, I just don't really like watching it that much. Well, that about does it for my list here. I'm that guy with a different opinion. Hope you enjoyed this video review. Check out more.